Hold on, wait a minute. No way All for One was the one who actually planned all of Shigaraki's life like this. It actually kind of reminds me of Reverse Flash for some reason.
Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch!
Alright, what was this episode? It felt like I needed a minute to process everything that I actually saw because a lot of it actually made me tear up. Shigaraki thought his entire existence was meant to be for destruction, but Midoriya was trying to save him from himself, and in the process, he ended up losing his hands. I can't believe that Midoriya was actually willing to help him to this extent, and also, I can't believe that they actually made All for One just like Reverse Flash, where he was literally responsible for everything, even Shigaraki's birth. Yes, I'm not joking. I was absolutely shocked when I actually came to know all of this. Also, what was this Avengers reference at the end of the episode? We absolutely have to talk about this. Okay, so firstly, it makes sense that Nana Shimura was loved and hated by her own child at the same time because she of all the people had abandoned him because she wanted to save him from All for One, but it ended up making him bitter. He thought of heroes as people who abandon their own families to save others. I mean, I can't really believe that he actually said it. This was an absolutely insensitive thing to say about his own mother, but eventually she got over it and apologized even if it wasn't her fault. I can't believe that she was such a good person and she suffered to that extent while still being a hero. Till her last point of existence, she helped her own child and her grandson. You absolutely have my respect, Nana Shimura, but this next scene absolutely broke me deep down. Although even if it was about Shigaraki's past that I had seen before in the previous episodes when he had manifested his quirk, Midoriya was forced to see all of that the very moment when Shigaraki accidentally unalived his dog. Well, at least he didn't shock his dog intentionally. What is up with this here and dogs catching strays? They can't keep getting away with this.
You can't keep getting away with it!
But Midoriya having the courage to face him even without One for All was truly something. Midoriya didn't change even now when he didn't even have any power because he was always the same even from season 1. So it is kind of understandable, but it wasn't enough because decay was affecting him in the dream world and even in the real world too. So his hands were absolutely getting destroyed anyways, but he didn't really care from his perspective. He was just a hero who was trying to help Shigaraki, but from Shigaraki's perspective, he thought that he was the arbiter of every destruction. He thought that he was the one that actually wanted this, and he even thought that he chose this, saying that he destroyed his family intentionally. Imagine thinking that all you were capable of is destruction. It was kind of really sad. I do feel bad for Shigaraki, I'm not going to lie. It was showing how much regret and anger Shigaraki had stored inside of him, but the reality was that all he needed was someone to actually hold his hand and tell him that it was absolutely okay, something that he never had. But Midoriya did have it. He had people who would always make sure that he had their hand to hold in any situation possible. So I guess the only difference between them was that one of them got help and the other one didn't get any help, so he was forced down the path of destruction. So Midoriya wanted to do the same for Shigaraki. He wanted to help him now, even if it meant losing his hands, because he was just built like that. He would actually help others even at the cost of his own self, and he even said All Might's signature line, and he told him everything was going to be okay. In the process, he lost his hands, but he didn't care. He just smiled at Shigaraki, which caused Shigaraki's hatred to fall apart. Just what did I actually witness right now? I think I actually witnessed peak fiction, but I think this part showed the story from other people's perspective. To some, Shigaraki was actually a hero. They were actually wishing on him winning because they were forsaken by the world. So they actually got to understand what Shigaraki was going through, and they too wanted him to destroy the world for forsaking them. All I have to say is that this actually hits hard, and it was absolutely realistic. As someone who has actually seen people suffer a lot in real life, I don't know what to say about this, since Horikoshi is actually someone who makes sure that he captures perspective of everyone. It was insane, since in Japan, depression and issues due to school and 9 to 5 is very big, so I can see why he put all all of this in there. He just wanted to show the issues from his country too, and they were absolutely disappointed when Shigaraki was finally beaten. But this next moment was absolutely diabolical. We got to see the entire background of what happened to Shigaraki and how he became a villain. It was from All For One's perspective and how he had absolutely done the same thing that Reverse Flash did. He was the architect of Shigaraki's existence and destruction at the same time. All For One's mind ended up waking inside Shigaraki's mind. I can't believe that All For One just saw Shigaraki as a vessel, which made me really angry. He was someone who saw people as tools all his life, but he still succeeded because he had the power to do so. He didn't get any justice or karma thrown at him. The next scene was an absolute Reverse Flash moment though. He sent Midoriya out of Shigaraki's mind and had a conversation with him, straight up telling him that all this time not a single decision made by him was his own. Every single thing was done by All For One. Even Shigaraki being born was All For One's doing. He had understood that to take one for all, someone needed to have a stronger willpower than the wielder, which was why he invested so much into Shigaraki. Every last hateful emotions that Shigaraki felt was done with intention of making his will so strong that his hate for the entire society would fuel it, because at the end of the day, hate is such an emotion that literally has surpassed everything in the existence. It is what has given meaning to the current day society, where the entire algorithm is guided and fueled by hate. So yes, hate is the strongest of all the emotions, which can drive people to do anything at any point. All For One literally gave advice to Shigaraki's dad to have another kid so his daughter couldn't feel lonely. It was so messed up. Like, can you imagine him being the architect of Shigaraki's birth like that? To make matters worse, All For One had stolen Shigaraki's quirk factor under the disguise of being a nice guy. He had even made sure that his father grew more and more abusive. What in the actual I think I need a minute. Good God. He even made sure that Shigaraki was given something to strive for. In this case, he made sure Shigaraki wanted to be a hero. And when everything was done, he did the worst thing that he had ever done. He had gotten the decay quirk from the orphanage that his subordinate Garaki had started. It was supposed to be a good quirk since it was reversible too, but he modified it to be inferior and removed its reversibility and transferred it to Shigaraki, making sure that he only had the power to destroy and not to reverse the damage that he did. Everything was given to Shigaraki by All For One. That included everything, including the tragedies, the trials, the rejection and the acceptance. All For One was the one who did this to Shigaraki. I don't know what to say. This was similar to what Reverse Flash did in the Flash comics, where he made sure that Barry would become the Flash by offing his mother. This was what a real villain looks like. This is why we need to make villains that are irredeemable, because a good villain is needed if you want to make a good hero. He had destroyed Shigaraki's mind and took over his body, resurrecting himself once more. This was really disturbing right now, considering how he looked in Shigaraki's body, which was absolutely terrifying. He even closed Shigaraki's mouth off so he couldn't scream. What the hell did I actually saw? This guy is pure evil. He has zero redeeming qualities. He is a straight up villain to actually even do this right now. Any trace of Shigaraki that was there was gone, absolutely destroyed by him. Only All For One remained. But I actually felt bad for Midoriya too. The guy had lost all of his hands and his quirk too. He was absolutely weak right now. He couldn't even get up. Even when he didn't have any power, he tried to stand up and fight All For One, so he couldn't let him win. But it was the harsh reality. Midoriya was powerless and All For One was the one with all the power right now. He was about to finish him, but I'm glad that his friends came to save him when he needed it the most. I honestly had forgotten that Sero, Ojiro and Sato actually existed, since these guys are really forgettable in the long run, and even Eraserhead came straight up out of a portal. I'm glad that they actually gave him, Present Mike and Shirakumo a very nice closure. They didn't think their friend existed since he was turned into a Nomu. I'm actually shocked that it was Eraserhead that tried to be emotional, since he is the one who is really logical and Mike is the emotional one here. So I'm glad for all three of them, because it reminds me of my friends too, and seeing them like this, it just makes me feel nice. Thanks to that, we actually got to see something like that scene from Avengers Endgame, where all the portals open up and the heroes come to Captain America to actually help him against Thanos. It actually was really nice. speaking of that, I can't believe Eri actually broke her horn and gave it to Aizawa to actually use the wind on Midoriya's hand to make sure that he got his hands back. She's such a nice person deep down to actually want to do this for him. Although I didn't expect Mineta of all the people to actually come and give a hyping moment speech, because this guy is never taken seriously. Shouldn't it be Bakugo though, since he's the one who usually says this? Midoriya was absolutely like Captain America right now. Even his stance was literally screaming this line.
I could do this all day. I could do this all day.
Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you all think about this? And do leave a like and a subscribe if you want more of my content. And I will see you all in the next video. That's about it. Peace out. Have fun.